US President Joe Biden had advised Israeli leaders not to rush with judicial reforms. The rare statement comes as the tussle over judicial reforms nears its endgame. And as the Jewish state inches towards the final showdown, both sides are intensifying their efforts. The Israeli government is exploiting all rules of parliamentary procedures to get the first bill of the contested reform package by the end of this month. Protesters, on the other hand, are now being joined by reservists of Israeli military. The reservists are threatening to pull out of service if the reforms are enacted, with both sides pulling hard in opposite directions. Chances of compromise remain elusive at the best. Protests against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's judicial overhaul intensify this week. Demonstrations are being held across the nation, including Jerusalem. And a retired Israeli Air Force general says 161 of the Corps' reserve officers had vowed to no longer report for duty. The officers, with ranks ranging from major to brigadier general, notified the military of their decision over the last 3 days. This could serve as a critical blow to the Israeli government. The nation relies on its conscript military, which draws on reserves in wartime. The army requires that the reservists undergo regular training, with officers threatening not to report for duty. The overall capacity of Israeli armed forces is set to take a hit, something that a nation surrounded by foes can ill afford. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and Chief of Staff of Israeli Defense Forces met with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Prime Minister was briefed on the security situation and the competence of the IDF. Meanwhile, the Knesset House Committee has approved the coalition's scheduled plan to pass the first of the bills in the package this month itself. For this, the Knesset will convene this Sunday, when the government will present the legislation. Debate and objections will continue till Monday. After this, the vote will begin with the ruling coalition sitting in a comfortable majority in the single-chamber parliament. The bill is expected to pass conveniently. The draft, called Reasonableness Bill, intends to clip some powers to the Supreme Court. Once enacted, the Israeli Supreme Court could no longer void government decisions for being unreasonable. Supporters say this would rein in Israel's activist judiciary. Critics fear that this is the first step of Benjamin Netanyahu to remove checks and balances and head towards dictatorship.
Israel remains a thriving democracy in the Middle East.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.